Well, hello there, and welcome to episode 26 of The Evidence. This is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D, and we have a lot of very interesting anomalies to check out today, so let's get right to it. You know, I love it when we find a series taken on a slightly overcast day later in the afternoon. The even lighting really makes every detail crystal clear, without the heavy shadows or glaring overexposures we sometimes see. There's dozens of anomalies in this pan, but this particular one I found, I mean, it's so strange. I just had to focus on it and forget the others. Okay, what do you make of that? A right-angled pipe coming out of a rock. Well, maybe a rock. And it's got a little receptacle on one end. Kind of reminds me of one of those long clay pipes all those coffee-drinking rebels used to smoke in colonial times. Not my cup of tea, actually. So, is the rock actually a machine part? Look at the rear. It's got teeth rather like a comb sticking out. Maybe we're not getting the whole story, but NASA wouldn't do that, would they? My buddy Jim West is a right-thinking kind of guy whose work I've admired for a long time. Jim recently shared what I'm calling an inscribed boulder that I felt ought to get the 3D treatment. It's over there on the right inside the target area, and frankly, it doesn't look particularly non-fractal or unusual at first glance. But now it does look unusual, at least to me. Those markings, those planes, that multitude of right angles, well, they're whispering, I'm not from around here. What also gets me is what's right by that locator dot just in front of Jim's boulder. Whatever it is, looks like a big white hand, a right hand to be specific, crawling over the edge of the rock. Is it part of a broken statue or just a trick of light and shadow? One thing's for certain, it's made of completely different material than Jim's boulder. You can draw your own conclusions. When I first got into this great GigaPan by Neville Thompson, my eyes were drawn to the scrambled area and two stones of apparently different material that you see within the target area. When I moved in on it, I was a bit surprised. Look at all that ragged stuff on the ground. Are those roots? Corroded rebar? An ancient wiring harness? Then that first gray stone has such a weird opening, almost symmetrical, but not quite non-fractal. But the dark one in back, there's stuff going on with that one that we'll get into in a minute. Well, what do you think? That opening doesn't look natural to me, but the rest of the stone, if that's what it is, does. Jury's out on this one, I guess. But look at this next one. Now this is definitely non-fractal. The whole item looks like mangled and corroded framework for something electronic. Let's start on the right side with that square end and circular opening. See all the little pieces on the inside? Then there's that piece of plumbing sticking out at the 8 o'clock position. That almost looks like a gas fitting on the end. How about that hex nut on the right bottom edge in front? Then there's all those parallel squiggles all over and inside the framework. I don't think I'm reading too much into this one. There are just too many non-fractals present to toss this one off as either a rock or a trick of light and shadow. I'm putting this into my Best of 2020 folder for consideration later on this year. Take a look at that tangle inside the target area. There seems to be a lot of whatever this is in this particular GigaPan. As far as I'm concerned, folks, this here is rebar. Your guess is as good as mine, though. Are they mineral veins that eroded out of softer stone? Plant roots, maybe. Ancient plumbing? How about that right angle in the lower left? It's got all those little beads along both edges, and as you work your eyes to the right, you'll see lots of suspicious stuff just lying around. The name Ilya Lorinx is a new one to me. I guess she's fairly new in the game, or I'm just not keeping up like I should, which is more likely. But she has made a truly astonishing discovery. This find was already covered by Joe White, an old hand at this stuff, over at his great channel Art Alien TV. So I want to give Ilya and Joe full credit for finding and presenting this anomaly before the rest of us. You can see from the context picture that nothing really jumps out at you, but it's there inside the target area. As we move in, you can see the white item shaped like an older cell phone. Its black screen looking smashed, and in fact you can even faintly see radiating fracture lines on the screen itself. I decided to move in tight and work at the pixel level, adjusting contrast and so forth. I haven't changed anything in the next image other than to brighten it up a bit. Quick question: how many smashed cell phone screens have you seen that look exactly like what we see here? It just seems too clear to me to just ignore. And look where the arrow's pointing. That looks like a receptacle for a cord, doesn't it? I'm hoping that Ilya isn't a one-hit wonder and that he or she continues to share their amazing finds with us. Hey, thanks for stopping by today. And you know what? It doesn't really matter what I think or say about these things. You're an adult. Look at the evidence, then you be the judge. If you liked what you see, please consider subscribing to this channel. And in any case, glad you stopped by. We'll see you next time. Be well.